Hello everyone and welcome back to the life and suffering of Sir Brante. So I have to make a quick little adjustment. After the last chapter, I went ahead and started recording again. I figured I'd go ahead and just record as much as I possibly can because I have work next week. But I was recording back-to-back episodes. But in what would have been this episode, there was a little hiccup. So as I was recording, I got about halfway through the video, probably about a good 30 or 40 minutes before I realized that I actually wasn't recording. So I had to go back and redo the entire chapter all over again. I was just going to go ahead and skip to where I was as far as the dialogue goes, but I felt like that would kind of deprive you of what was actually going on. It wasn't too many major things, but it was leading up to a pretty big incident, so I didn't want to deprive anyone of the things that led to that particular incident. So I went back. However, when I did go back, I went ahead and changed two decisions. The first decision was the one about what to do on the first day. Instead of hanging out with the judges, I went ahead and went straight to work trying to organize everything. So that gave me a little bit more justice. And it also gave me some favor. Well, no, it gave me some more favor with one of the judges. I mean, with El Brante. Not El Brante. What is his name? Whatever the guy name is, the head judge. It gave me some a little bit of relationship with him, and that also kind of ricocheted later on, because then when my brothers got arrested, it allowed me to use my authority as a judge to turn around and let them out. So those are the only two decisions that I've done differently, and it's kind of helped me out a little bit because actually now I have a lot more justice as opposed to that I had before. So those are the only two decisions that I made that were different, and they weren't really, I was originally going to record them, but they weren't really that big of a difference as far as dialogue goes. So yeah, there wasn't anything major or anything that kind of disrupted anything else. I'm still courting Octavia. Everything else is still going along just as well as it was in the last video. But anywho, we're going to go ahead and continue. So, friend of the people, another day of work at the prefecture is winding down. After hours of paperwork, your fingers are cramped, your vision blurred. Today you must finish incorporating the new decrees of the Great Imperial Council into the Magran Code of Law. The document will then be sent to the Overseer. A knock at the door distracts you. Your visitor is someone you were not expecting to see. Mayor Egmont enters your office. He is the wealthiest man in Magra, the owner of the silver mines, and the leader of the wealthy commoners' party in the Lesser Quorum. He wears a high-priced frock coat made of light gray fabric. He wears no jewelry, but his coat is richly embroidered, the most luxury a commoner can ever afford. Egmont offers you a broad, suntanned hand. It is hard, work-weary, and eternally callous. This is a man who has earned his fortune with the sweat of his brow. Good afternoon, Judge Brante. We met recently about the newspaper business, but today I need to discuss a different matter with you. I came to talk to you on behalf of the manufacturers of Magra. As you know, the principal source of income in the province is the silver mines. Our mines provide silver for the sacramental rites conducted in temples all over the empire, but the upper vein of ore is nearly exhausted. We need to process new deposits that are lower down. That's where our trouble with the law comes into play. In order to get to the deeper layers of ore, we need gunpowder, but a decree from the Great Imperial Council has forbidden common people from using it. Back in the capital, they're afraid we'll turn that gunpowder into a weapon. But this restriction will harm not only the manufacturers and the miners, but the province as a whole. The silver trade will decline. We won't have enough money to buy grain, and soon even the nobility will be impoverished. Now, I know that you, the judge of the prefecture, I know that you, the judges of the prefecture, are the ones who interpret the decree from the capital. So I implore you, Sir Brante, to come to the aid of the honest tradesmen of Magra. Pass an amendment allowing the use of gunpowder in the silver mines. You give Egmont a speculative glance and ask him why he has asked you specifically for the help. I've been following your decisions for quite some time, Your Honor. They give me hope. I don't agree with you on everything, but we seem to see eye to eye on the essentials. The common estate needs to get real rights. It's the only way for our province and for the empire as a whole. Sure, Prefect Elborn has proclaimed as much himself, But unfortunately, he's a nobleman of the sword first and foremost. He's bound by the blood tide, by the power of the Overseer and the Arknians, so all his undertakings are doomed to failure. If you, Sir Brante, truly care for the people, you need some powerful allies among the lowborn, allies like me. Do this for me, and together we'll change the fate of Magra. Egmont extends his hand, hope in his eyes. You take your time before answering, weighing his words carefully. So yes, I'm going to agree with this before. I've already done this once before, but yeah, I'm going to agree. And I think this was the only decision I made. And I was starting to get into the other one, which I pretty much got shoehorned in, and I can't really do anything about it. So, but yeah, I am going to go ahead and agree. You take his hand. Egmont gives you a strong handshake. You tell him that you share his apprehension and understand that silver is crucial to the province. You promise to amend the law so that the restrictions do not apply to silver mines. Thank you, Darren Brante. Nobles who care about the needs of the common folk are few and far between. This is what nobility really means. I share your belief that only a union of the estates will lead the empire to order and prosperity. You can count on my support. Silver is the lifeblood of Magra. Today, you've not only saved us all from ruin, you've also made every Magran a little bit richer, yourself included. I'll make sure the Brontes get a share of the profits. And I promise you, Brante, this gunpowder will shatter those ancient rock formations and reveal their hidden treasures to us all. Alright, so now he's indifferent towards us, but we still got a +1 with him, and we've made a deal. And the wealth of Magra has went up by 2, now it's sitting at 6. And the commoners are protected. I think the only other difference is, and I might be wrong, but my justice was a little too high in the last one. I think the commoners had seized power, or it might be due to the next incident that comes up. Alright, and my wealth went up a little bit as well. Egmont made a deal with you. You are helping him to legitimize the use of gunpowder in the mines. The road to the top. This event is a consequence of your previous actions, career. So yeah, this didn't happen in the last when I was playing before because my justice stat was my career stat was far too low actually. So that kind of screwed me up. Whereas in this time, I didn't have as many effects to my career. I think I had a 3 before, but right now I'm sitting at a 5, so that's good. Your actions result in well-earned progress up the professional ladder. You are expected to have a glorious future in the field of law. You receive more and more invitations to balls and noble gatherings. High-ranking nobles wish to befriend you. Powerful people have been keeping a close eye on your ascent. Today, a personal letter from the magistrate, Remiel Vermin, is delivered to your home. So Darren Brante, I would like to further our acquaintance and discuss certain matters over a glass of Elarian. I will expect you at my estate this afternoon. Accompanied by servants, you walk down the imposing enfilade of El Vermin's granite manor. Gold tapestry, stone carvings of ancestors' profiles. Compared to this luxury, your own home seems tiny and cramped. El Vermin greets you by the fire. At home, the influential ruler of the city seems peaceful and amiable. Judge Brante, pray come in. I'm delighted to see you again. Servants, pour us some wine. Please have some, Darren. Though your most recent deeds call for much more than a glass of Elrian, I'll be frank, after our first encounter, I had my doubts about your trustworthiness. But now you've proven by your actions that you have a future. You sip the wine. It is excellent, as expected. You calmly reply that you strive to serve the Empire and the Prefecture faithfully and in the manner you deem proper. I am overjoyed to see that the younger generations honor our traditions and cares about the fate of our nation. We have that in common, you and I. Many see me as merely power hungry, but why would power itself be of interest to me? My family is already powerful and wealthy. Its position is secure for many generations to come. No, my friend, I need power to save the city that has been entrusted to me from a grave threat. Take a look around. More and more insurgents are preparing a bloody uprising among the common folks. The new faith compels people to defy their lots. The foundation of the empire has been shaken. What do you think? Will a new world be born from this? Those who hope to see this happen seem to have forgotten that our world was created in accordance with the twins' design. We are already on the cusp of provoking their wrath. Elvermin is becoming truly incensed. Apparently, the fate of the Empire is not just a subject of idle chatter for him. You must understand, Brante. I've seen plenty of starry-eyed idealists yearning to change the world, and I know where those dreams lead. We've trespassed against the sacred order, and now we are on the verge of the wrath of the gods. I am a nobleman and a citizen of the Empire, and it is my duty to save this world from ruin. While the Overseer and the Archduke persist in their futile squabble, the danger is growing. It's time to take matters into our own hand. I'm seeking allies, the people who will stand by my side to protect the city and the Empire. I hope you have the courage to become one of us. Let me speak frankly. Prefect Elborn is, alas, among those who are dragging us towards our destruction. He aims to subject all estates to the tyranny of the law. He seems to have forgotten that the law must serve the good of the Empire and be a mainstay of order. But Elborn wishes to disrupt this order. He is pushing for the lowborn to gain power. What do you suppose will be the first thing they do once they get it? They'll take up arms and destroy this country. Elborn has doomed himself to a shameful fall. Meanwhile, the city needs someone at the helm of the prefecture who is bound by honor and concerned about the fate of the Empire. You can be that someone, Brante. You stare at your glass of wine, trying to hide your feelings. If you prove yourself worthy in the future, Sir Brante, I can promise you the post of the Prefect of Magra. I hope you see it not only as a chance to elevate yourself, but also to make your mark on history. Side with me, and together we'll save Anazet from the uprising. If you remain Elborn servant, you will lose and fall together. Now, of course, I can't do that because I've already agreed to work with Mayor Egmont. So, And that would give me +3 career, +1 in justice. Interesting. Wasn't expecting that. This will give me -1 in the career, but it won't put me in as bad a situation I was in before. So before I think I had a -3, a -3, or just, excuse me, I had a 3. So that put me into a situation where I was in danger. Then I did something else and it put me further in danger. So yeah, could have ended up very poorly. I will refuse and protect my family. Silence. You hold the magistrate's heavy stare and respond calmly that you are not prepared to make any promises. You thank Elvermin for his trust, but you are a judge of the prefecture, and you already have a superior. Elvermin frowns, shakes his head disdainfully, and rises from his chair. I'm very sorry to hear that, Sir Brante. I had high hopes for you. We could have achieved so much together. Soon you will see you've chosen the wrong side. Farewell. Back at home, you describe your conversation with the magistrate to your father. Elvermin's threatening tone is alarming. An enemy as powerful as the magistrate could turn the nobility of Anazet against your family. I'm proud of you for staying loyal to our friend Elborn. The magistrate is a dirty schemer who is only using this talk of honor and protecting the Empire's cover. Don't worry about the family. I'll make sure to talk to the noble families of the city in advance in order to get ahead of the magistrate's plot. Hopefully, this will be enough to protect our reputation against his slander. Your father's efforts to thwart Elvermin's schemes have been successful so far, but your feud with the magistrate has a damaging effect on your career. The documents you prepare take weeks to be signed. Obtaining an audience or arranging a meeting is frequently impossible. You hear anxious whispers behind your back. Darren Brante crossed the ruler of the city. Steer clear of him. But I'm still a judge, so that's all that matters at the end of the day. Yeah, before I was in a dangerous position, and I think I was at 1. So this could have turned out really ugly. Alright, the year's 1141, the guns of Illyria. Magra has received alarming news from the neighboring province of Illyria. The lowborn convicts toiling in the Illyrian mines have revolted against their noble masters. For the first time in many long, peaceful years, commoners have taken up arms. Worse yet, the insurgents had guns and gunpowder. No one knows how they got them. Gunpowder weapons were banned throughout the Empire as soon as they were invented. The lords deemed firearms dishonorable and unfit for the nobles. Even Legion soldiers are forbidden from using them. But now gunshots were echoing throughout the mutinous Illyrian mines. The Imperial Legion was deployed to quell the riots. The legionnaires slaughtered the rebels without mercy, and the uprising choked to death on its own blood before it had even begun. The south of Illyria is now a forest of gallows. The convicts' corpses were left swaying in the wind as a warning to any commoner who might dare to take up arms. Although the rebellion quickly succumbed to the Imperial military's onslaught, many Legion soldiers and officers were slain by the insurgents' firearms. Their steel armor was no match for bullets. The rioters' weapons were destroyed in the public ceremony, but no one knows who built or smuggled them into the mines. All Imperial overseers soon issued public reminders in their provinces. The punishment for owning a gunpowder weapon is true death by execution. But the Empire is still restless, still anxious. Somehow guns found their way into the commoners' hands, if only for a short time. Could gunpowder and lead one day endanger the old ways of the Empire? Authorities of Magra fear that the unrest may soon spill over here. Due to the double tax, peasant farms and industrial manufacturers are facing harsh times. The province's wealth is steadily declining, but the discontent of the commoners is still held back by the eternal lot that demands they accept their suffering. Alright. Okay, so the wealth of Magra has gone down a little bit. It's still secure. Friend in need. And this is actually where I stopped off before. So after this, I don't know what's going to be happening. You arrive at the office one fine morning and find a visitor already sitting there. The visitor is none other than Tomas Giro. His heavy uniform already bears a captain's chevrons. Tomas looks nervous, his fingers drumming, a foreboding staccato on the desk. Why has your old friend decided to pay you a visit? You pat your friend on the shoulder and congratulate him on his promotion. Tomas shrugs quietly, brimming with pride. I got bumped up a month ago. Apparently the Legion is running short on decent officers. Then I realized why there are so few of them. Wish I knew my direct superior was gonna be our very own Commander Otten. Thomas grows grim at the mention of Otten. Listen, buddy, you and me, we always help each other out, right? That Arknian bastard, well, he challenged me to a duel. For the second time. He cut me down a month ago. That was my second lesser life. Lesser death. I know I never told you, but it was tough. The gods, they spoke to me there, in the hereafter. But right now I got something worse to worry about than matters of the soul. See, Otten, he remembers me from the time at the academy when I stood up to him at the party. Now he's gonna kill me again and again until my true death comes. So it's a duel. That's Otten's way of having fun with his subordinates. Darren, I'm asking you as a friend, will you be my second at the duel? I know Prefect O'Born doesn't like any kind of sword fighting. It's one of the old traditions he wants to put a stop to. But if I show up without a second, he won't just kill me for a third time. He'll dishonor me too. You knit your brow in thought. In the Prefect's opinion, dueling is a lawless tool of noble tyranny. O'Born sees duels as an outmoded way of circumventing the legal system. He would be crushed to learn that one of his judges have been involved in a duel. Thomas sighs heavily. I know this is hard, pal, but I've got no one else to turn to. All the boys in the Legion fear Otten like the plague. You're the only noble who can support me in this. But I know this duel won't be the end. Our great Sir Otten will find an excuse for a third duel before you know it. That'll be my last one for sure. Thomas rolls up the sleeves of his uniform. Two pitch black lines encircle his forearms. He is desperate, and it is easy to see why one of one-on-one against an Arknian swordsman, he is doomed. The law forbids dueling, but if you refuse to show Thomas your support through your presence, your friend's spirit will be broken before his body can even be killed. You recall all the previous encounters with Auden in your youth. Is there a chance the distinguished Arknian still remembers you? If you go to him and speak to Thomas's defense, will he even bother to listen? So yeah, I have no choice but to agree to this. I can't do anything else. I can't stop the duel from taking place because I would have needed Dorius Auden's opinion of me to be at a 0. So yeah, there's that. And I can't decline it because we have the bond of friendship. So yeah, agree to be Thomas's second. You've been best friends with Thomas ever since you were little boys. Does he really think you would abandon him to such a cruel fate? Of course you would be his second at the duel no matter what. Your friendship will not be broken, not even if you risk Prefect Elborn's displeasure. As the two of you walk to the palace ruins, you finally have time to ask Thomas for more information. What was Auden's excuse for challenging him to a duel this time? Here's what happened. Auden told me to head to a nearby village with a squad of Legion soldiers. Sulmina it's called. The villagers refused to pay the Archduke's taxes, said they've already paid the taxes to Gaius Tempest's men. He's the overseer, so the law says the tax is his. So Auden told me and the lads to string up a couple of the rowdiest peasants and put their houses to the torch to teach the rest of them a lesson. So we went there. And let me tell you, buddy, I didn't join the Legion to start hanging people and burning villages, so we decided to have a word with the village elder first. The locals soon realized what was going on. Losing money is one thing, but losing a spare life is worse. They hemmed and hawed and finally found enough cash to pay Archduke Milanatus, which means we came back to Anazet with nobody dead and all the money for the treasury. But then the commander summoned me and claims I didn't follow his orders, which means I also slighted the honor of the noble Arknian, who's my commander. So he challenges me to a duel. And you know what? I'm not the first, Darren, and I'm not the last. Any officer in the Legion could end up like me. Auden does as he sees fit, with no plans to stop. He's a commander. He's a noble of the sword. He's an Arknian. We're just dirt under his boot. Who's gonna rein him in? You reach the site of the duel just before dawn. By a half-crumbled wall, you see a tall figure clad in a thick cloak. Dorius Auden, High Commander of Magra, is already expecting you. His azure fingers drum impatiently on the pommel of his sword. Thomas dutifully bows to his commander. Auden grimaces at him. You're late, Captain Giro. Why should I have to wait for you? You've insulted me again already. And who is this? I've seen your face before. Anyway, don't have time for this. Make haste, I have other duels today. The commander's second appears from the shadows, a young nobleman, quiet and eager to oblige his betters. As seconds, you ask the duelists if they are ready. Without a word, Auden draws his sword. Thomas nods anxiously, clearly ready to face another death. The two bow ceremoniously and adopt a dueling stance. The difference between them is apparent as soon as they begin. Auden's sword seems like an extension of his arm. Thomas pales before him, like a clumsy child who has grabbed father's sword for the first time. Everything about this battle shows that Auden treats his duel as no more than entertainment. The Arknian moves around so rapidly and gracefully, your friend can barely defend himself against the flurry of strikes. Then, for the smallest moment, Auden tones down his assault, and for the first time during the duel, Thomas makes a riposte. Easily, effortlessly, Auden deflects Thomas's blow, then retaliates. His sword sticks through your friend's shoulder. As soon as you see the blade drew blood, you shout for the duel to end. The debt for the insult has been paid in blood. If the loser of this duel is ready to offer his apology, the fight must stop. What? Is some human trying to teach me the laws of the duel? I'm an Arknian of the Auden dynasty. There is no one here who can teach me the ways of honor. His sword flashes and stabs your friend straight through the heart. A wet red spot begins to spread across Thomas's shirt. Your friend stumbles backward. He drops his sword. His knees buckle. A wheeze, another, then a cough full of blood, and his bright eyes grow dim and dull. Slowly, Thomas's body disappears. His blood-stained clothes, his sword, and his footsteps in the dust are all that remains. Auden hands his sword to his second, who is ready to wipe it down. Well then, that pitiful human will face another duel very soon. Let's hope he fights better during his last life. When your friend is reborn, tell him my exact words. Jesus. The Arknian walks away, calm and composed, his second in tow. Dazed and numb, all you can do now is gather your friend's belongings and bring them to his house. Unless you intervene, Thomas is doomed to meet his true death soon. You are a judge, but to an Arknian of such rank and birth, your authority means nothing. Is there any way you can help your friend? Yeah, I don't know. And Augustin Elborn is not happy with me about that. Alright, the case against Auden. Interesting. The day after your meeting with Thomas, time slows to a crawl. As you examine one case after another, you cannot help but think back to your friend and his fate, again and again. There's a knock at the door. Baron Elborn, the prefect, has decided to pay you a visit. I have a matter to discuss with you, Brante. Would you mind if we take a walk? It's getting a bit stuffy in here. The prefect clearly wants to discuss something in private. You walk down the stairs together and leave the prefecture. Soon the two of you are walking down the noisy streets of the Brass District. The wind is strong today. The gray sky mercifully overcast. The people around you are bartering, buying, and selling eagerly. The streets are full of craftsmen and factory workers. Merchant carts squeak as they roll down the streets. The head of the prefecture looks more worried than usual, lost in thought as he observes the bustling street life around him. Brante, do you recall how we talked about the tyranny of the nobility in the province? Dorius Auden, the high commander of Magra, is on a murderous spree. He challenges his subordinates to a duel for the slightest infraction and slaughters them with impunity. If our law is unable to protect anyone from the violent tyranny of the Arknians, who will ever respect the law? It's time we put an end to this. As long as I'm in charge of the prefecture, establishing the rule of law over people of all estates and titles is our most important task. But people like Auden stand in our way, people who think themselves above the law. We need to prove them wrong. I've been informed that Auden has pressured your childhood friend, Captain Thomas Giro, to a duel, and I believe Sir Giro has sought your assistance in private. Am I right? You admit that is so. Indeed, as an old friend, Thomas is counting on you to defend him. And so, young Brante, I believe that to be reason enough to entrust this case to you officially. If you find yourself doubting your abilities, know that you are my best candidate. No other judge would have the courage to prosecute an Arknian. That, and I trust you more than any ordinary judge. I spoke to your father, but even he would not accept this undertaking. He says your family has worked too hard to be ennobled by the sword to risk it all now. But you bear no such burden, do you? As it stands right now, sentencing an Arknian to even the smallest punishment isn't unthinkable. But drop by drop, water can wear down any stone. We will make our way to Auden, but we must do it slowly and carefully. What we need is a perfectly prepared case. We need you to find enough incontrovertible evidence and enough witnesses who are willing to testify in court. But I'm sure you realize that even this won't be enough to force an Arknian to go to trial, don't you, Darren? We have to change the unspoken rules in our city and province. We'll start with lower-ranking people, lower-ranking cases, and little by little, we'll establish rules that even high-born nobles will have to obey. All of a sudden, Elborn stops. Standing in the middle of the street bustling with life, he points out a number of commoners hurrying about their business. Just look. All these people need to know that there is a such thing as justice. The law must apply to them all, no matter their lot, whether suffering, praying, or ruling. They need to know they can rely on us judges to enforce the law against anyone and everyone. I'm counting on you in this, Sir Brante. You stand motionless as Elborn studies you intently. From now on, from this moment forth, you will prosecute a case against the High Commander of Magra, a highborn Arknian from an ancient dynasty. This is a pivotal moment in your destiny and your career. You could rise higher than ever, or plunge into obscurity and ruin. You decide to talk about Thomas and his fate. Right now, he represents your best chance at getting Auden indicted, but there is absolutely no guarantee he will live to speak at trial. If you are to oversee this case, ensuring his safety has to be the first thing you do. You're right, Brante. We need Thomas Giro to see this to the end. But remember, this is about more than your friend and his fate. This is a matter of law and justice for the entire province. The peril to Sir Thomas's life is great indeed, but if you openly defy the High Commander right now, your standing will suffer accordingly. You could find a safe shelter for Sir Thomas away from Auden, but if Thomas remains in the city, he might be of use when you begin looking for Auden's other victims. I realize you are looking for a way to rescue your friend, but right now we must use caution, lest our entire case suffer. What say you, Darren? What is your plan? So I could let Thomas roam freely. My career would go up. And Thomas Giro my relations with him would go down by 2. I could have Thomas taken into custody. My reputation would go down by 1. My scheming would go up by 1. But Thomas would go into hiding. And I could send Thomas out of Anazet. My career would go down by 1. My willpower would go down by 5, and Thomas would be in hiding. Conditions not met. Okay, so he would already have to be in hiding for me to convince Thomas to leave the Legion. Interesting. Decisions. I kind of don't want to waste my reputation again because it doesn't seem like I'm getting anything to help my reputation. But at the same time, I kind of need Thomas to not die. So there's that. He might get killed if he just roams freely. Shit. Yeah, I'll have Thomas taken into custody. Yeah, I'll get him. Yeah, I'll do that. You inform Elborn that you have a plan to protect Thomas, but the prefect need not know the details. It will be safer for everyone this way. That it will, Brante. You are the only one who truly knows how to help your friend. Proceed then. My only request is that you remain within the law at all times. You assure the prefect that the law will not be broken. On the contrary, it will be enforced with prejudice. I will leave that to your conscience then. We should get back to work. Begin preparing the case at once. Back at the office, you send a note to Thomas's address, a brief request to visit you at the prefecture as soon as possible. He returns to your office that evening. You've not seen him for just 1 day, but he looks a decade older. It pains you to see him so downcast. But you have news. Auden is well on his way toward being punished for his crimes. You are building a case against the High Commander of Magra, and Thomas absolutely has to participate in the trial as your main witness and tell the whole truth about the lawless tyranny of the haughty Arknian. Upon hearing those words, Thomas stands tall again. You spy a wicked spark in his eyes, a glimmer familiar from the years when you both were young. My oh my, the Brante boy next door wants to put an Arknian behind bars. Count me in, buddy. I'll bear witness all right, and I'm gonna have myself a good rant about that highborn bastard. You ask your friend to pace himself for now. First of all, Thomas needs protection against Auden's harassment, and you have a plan for that. You will start building a case of illegal dueling, but introduce the facts in a different way. It will look like Thomas was the one who initiated the duel then you will personally sentence him to a term in prison and temporary revocation of the sword. This way Auden will be unable to reach Thomas or challenge him again. You want me put in jail? Isn't that too much? How's that going to affect my standing in the Legion? But my only alternative is dueling Auden again. Okay, do what you must. I'll put my trust in you. Even if it means spending some time behind bars, it shouldn't be any worse than our barracks. That settled, you write an order to imprison Captain Thomas Gero for inciting a duel with his superior, Sir Dorius Auden. All that is left now is to summon the gendarmes and have them seize Thomas's sword and take him to prison. You calmly watch your friend being put in shackles. He manages a sly wink before being led out of your office. Now Captain Gero should be locked in a dark cell and kept safe and sound by the prefecture. Not even an Arknian high commander has the power to get to him there. Okay. But your gambit does not go unnoticed. One of the judges at the prefecture learns about your order and starts spreading rumors among the other nobles, claiming you besmirched the good name of Sir Dorius Auden. After all, you've created a written record of Auden being challenged to a duel by one of his own captains, a considerable mark of shame for an Arknian high commander. The nobles are talking about it now. This will surely attract Auden's unwanted attention to the case and make your work as a judge more difficult. So my honor is tarnished now, but again, hopefully I will get something to help my honor, or help my reputation, because Jesus. Scheming went up by 1, still inexperienced. I need to be at least a 10 to be a conspirator. Okay, Auden's case. You've been entrusted with a case against the noble and influential Arknian, the High Commander of the province. He is accused of violence against his own legionnaires. Alright, the year is 1141. A procession to the tree. A holy day is coming, a day when the entire empire thanks the twins for the silver tree, the sign they left behind as a reminder of their eternal presence in this world. This momentous occasion is especially important for Anazet, but the clergy cannot agree on how best to celebrate it. Father Leonard has called for all worshippers of the twins to approach the temple to the silver tree and kneel before the sacred relic, but the old clergy balks at the idea of Leonard and the new believers leading the ritual. The day has come. An immense crowd is moving in a procession towards the temple near the silver tree, where Father Leonard awaits. But an inquisitor by the name of Jean stands in their way. She strikes a defiant pose. Confronted by a member of the Holy Order of the Inquisition, the procession reluctantly stops. People, turn back. Those who attend the Leonard's rite will succumb to the new faith. Those who reject the lots will defy their divine design. You're about to bring the wrath of the gods down upon us all. Open your eyes. Go back to your homes and pray to the twins. The procession wants to move, but the people are confused, until Father Leonard himself walks out of the temple to meet Jean face to face. People of Anazet, no one has the right to deny you the sacred ritual of worshiping at the tree, not even the Inquisition. Is such a denial not more likely to provoke the wrath of the twins? The Inquisition must know that the new faith does not seek to challenge or defy the twins. We are merely trying to correct the mistake of those who come before us. We do not anger the twins. We merely vex those who refuse to accept the dawn of a new age. Jean finds herself between a rock and a hard place. Seeing that she has no other choice, she lets the procession pass. The new faith's numbers have swelled of late. It cannot be stopped now. Right? So it's at a -1 right now. I'm still at a schism. If we can get it to a 3, it'll be the new faith. The Festival of the Silver Tree. Today is an important holiday. The entire empire is celebrating the Festival of the Silver Tree, which commemorates the parting gift of the twin gods, the divine sapling they planted in our mortal world. In the middle of Anazet, the families of the city spend the day in peace and quiet, contemplating the divine roots that join together all people, their bloodlines, and the entire empire. Mother always oversees this holiday. The day before the festival, she seemed to have shaken off her usual apathy and engaged in the preparation with excitement. It was as though her illness has loosened its grip. Mother gathers the entire family for the holiday meal. Father is in high spirits today, sharing jokes with you and Nathan. Stephen is trying to suppress an atypical agitation. Gloria is the last to join you at the table. She is wearing new breeches with high stockings and a yellow vest. Gloria, you're wearing men's clothes again. No, Mother, I'm wearing clothes women are forbidden to wear. Father gives Gloria a stern look. Stephen rolls his eyes but says nothing. Suddenly, Nathan speaks up. A few days ago in the market, I saw a grocer dressed as Overseer Gaius Tempest. He had a huge carrot for a scepter. He got a sound drubbing, of course, but until then, it was quite a hoot. Everybody laughs at the ridiculous story, relieved. Even Gloria has a smile on her face when she sits down. The feast commences. Your home finally feels warm for a moment. It wasn't so long ago the four of you couldn't even reach up to this table. The first word you said, Gloria, was gimme. Nathan used to cling to my skirt all the time, almost tearing it. And you, Darren, you couldn't talk at all yet, but your piercing stare was so expressive. It felt as if you were talking to me. Mother looks at Stephen and suddenly grows quiet. When I met Stephen, he was already 3 years old. He was so serious and a smooth talker to boot. I remember that he had a music teacher, but he was too shy to play in front of me, so I used to listen from the next room. Stephen's face twitches. Your elder brother rises and moves to the old harpsichord. His fingers fly gracefully over the keys. A melody fills the house, melancholy and sweet. The last note lingers in the air, then silence falls. This family is awestruck. Words fail you all. Who wrote that? A nobleman from the capital, between drinking a glass of wine and beating a servant? Your sister's cutting remarks put an end to the warm, cozy atmosphere. Stephen calmly turns to face her. No, it was I who composed this piece of music. It is called Mother. Mother rises to her feet. She would have needed help to do this just recently, but now she treads unassisted towards Stephen and draws him close. Stephen puts his arms around his stepmother's waist, then detaches himself awkwardly. May the twin gods bless you, Lydia. Gloria considers this scene with thinly veiled fury in her eyes. Of course, highborn nobles like Stephen are made for the arts. They're the only ones lucky enough to have a soul and experience inspiration. Unlike us, the lowborn, we aren't supposed to feel anything but suffering, let alone express it in poetry. Everyone notices that Gloria is clutching pages filled with writing, her poems. Your sister casts a mournful glance at the family, and her eyes rest on you. Fortunately, I can't appeal to my mother because I don't have enough relations with her. Great. If I let Gloria read it, unity will go down by 1. If I interrupt her, so I'm damned if I do, damned if I don't. Well, shit. So, I guess I might as well just go ahead and let her read it, because I mean, things are already kind of fucked with Stephen, and I don't really care whether he gets mad or not, because I'm trying to take his place as the heir. You rise from your seat and speak. In your speech, you wholeheartedly support your sister. Gloria had the misfortune to be born a commoner, but she is still entitled to express her feeling. Why is Stephen the only one who has the right to delight Mother with his creations? Every member of our family should be equal. But what about our Lot's son? Gloria is permitting herself to practice a noble activity, thus breaching the divine order. You softly explain to Mother that times have changed. Nowadays, art isn't just a pleasure for the nobles, it's also a trade plied by many commoners. More and more low-born tradespeople are taking up the pen and ink rather than the hammer. This is now their labor and their suffering. Mother lets out a heavy sigh but yields to the onslaught of your inspired speech. Emboldened by your support, Gloria steps into the center of the room, her eyes fixed on Father. A stranger and a bastard I am called. I am, but still I long for you to say that I am yours and melt the icy coal that burns within my heart both night and day. My mother and my brothers all are near, but I feel cold as though we were apart. Ashamed yet still compelled to make you hear, I long to hold you closely to my heart. I am a stranger, 'tis my only crime. Forgive me, oh, but mercy is forbidden. I hope you see, if not forgive, in time my bitter love, both joyous and well hidden. Father stares at her in bewilderment. Gloria, Stephen springs to his feet and leaves for his chambers, slamming the door behind him. I don't feel so well. Nathan, son, please help me to my room. Mother leaves the room leaning on Nathan's arm. The celebration is cut short. Well, damn. Well, damn. Just all my stats. Good God. Man, if only I was more diplomatic, so I could turn around and do something to kind of resolve that situation. If only. Okay, a rendezvous with Octavia. What does this entail? Please marry me so my reputation will just skyrocket or something. Octavia and you do not see each other very often. Sometimes, as the days wear on, you forget about your unusual liaison. But then the Archduke's daughter bursts into your life and you abandon yourselves to passion until she disappears again. Today, Octavia is waiting for you at her summer home in the city. It is a cozy little villa, well concealed from prying eyes by a high fence. Beyond the fence is a glorious garden. You've never seen one so beautiful in Magra. Octavia meets you at the veranda. She's wearing a light white frock that leaves her shoulders exposed. Her black hair cascades down her back. You bow to Lady Milanatis. She grins and draws you towards her so that you sit down by her side. The sun is melting beyond the horizon. Octavia commands her servants to leave you alone. Tonight she is strangely pensive, barely touching her food and drink. You cautiously inquire if anything is amiss. Oh God, she's pregnant. Listen to me, Darren. I'm at a crossroads. My father, the Archduke, is planning to send me out of Magra for a while. Apparently, in his opinion, my escapades are bound to cause trouble for our family. Octavia stands up, towering above you. Her eyes burn with a menacing flame. I am a daughter of the great family of Milanatis, an Arknian, born at the peak of the world. All shall tremble before me. Isn't that so, Darren Brante? But before you can reply, Octavia abruptly lowers her head, downhearted. I am not free, just like you, my dear human Brante. I have a duty to my family, to my blood tide, to the Empire. My whole life, all I've ever done is fulfill obligations created by others. I have no aspirations. Everything is preordained. What the world is like, how I ought to live, what my father doesn't decide for me, those two up on the peak of the shining pillar already have. I'm looking for a way out of this cage. It must exist. I study history, but all I find are tidbits of lost knowledge. But I believe that I am not the first to try to escape the chains of this world. What am I to do, Darren? You yearn to break free of the fetters of fate, just as I do. You've escaped the commoner's lot and joined the higher estate, but your new lot is just as much of a prison, isn't it? Could it really be that none of us will ever be free? Octavia looks into your eyes dolefully. You have never seen her so helpless before. Interesting. I can share my revelations. My eloquence will go up by 2. My willpower will go up by 5. I've already had a death, so there's that. I can inquire about this arcane knowledge. My theology will go up by 2, my willpower will go up by 5, and I'll get +1 with Octavia, who's already at a 4 right now. Interesting. It doesn't go up with that. Or I can lose yourself in pleasure and get +10 willpower. Ask for assistance. And I can't do that because she's not my patron. So I would have gotten this one way or the other, but we wouldn't have been as close. I'm gonna go ahead and inquire about this arcane knowledge. Because, I do need some, well, it seems like the best out of this, and plus I do need to kind of increase my relations with Octavia. Maybe I can still get that marriage or something later on, who knows? I've been screwed several times so far by just being off by 1, so yeah, I'll go ahead and choose this. You carefully inquire about the lost knowledge Octavia was speaking of. What is she trying to find in these ancient manuscripts? Octavia responds with a playful smile. She takes your hand and leads you into her chambers. There, under the flickering candlelight, she covers you with a semi-transparent gold-colored veil. Then she puts a mysterious mask of the same color over your face. Don't speak. You'll understand. Let me in. Octavia intertwines her fingers with yours and starts singing. You've never heard this language before. The song is a slow, inhuman drawl. At first, nothing happens. You listen to Octavia's song, watching the glimmer of the candlelight on her face and the walls of her chamber. Everything is gently shifting. And when she cometh near, fear not, but hasten not toward her. Octavia's lips are not moving. The words seem to take shape inside your head by themselves. The skin of your limbs has taken on a different hue. Now it is blue like that of the Arknians, who is sitting opposite you. Octavia, yourself, you cannot tell anymore. Everything has become one. The world fades away and shatters. Your bodies, the walls, the rooms, the buildings, the city, everything grows pale and dissolves into light. All of it, the lots, the empire, the twin gods themselves, is but a dream. And you have wandered through this dream all your life. You come to your senses in the dead of night in Lady Melanides' bed. She's lying beside you, asleep, naked, her black hair spilled across the pillow. You run your trembling fingers over her skin. Octavia is sleeping soundly. Alright, so my affection is maxed out with her. And my theology just went up by 2, and my willpower is at full power. Might need that later on. Alright, so into the next year of 1142. The year 1142, the Emperor's heir is in danger. Interesting. News from the capital quickly reaches every corner of the empire. Gerion and Flavius, the heirs to the throne, have left the Emperor's palace for the province of Monia, which is ruled by Great Chancellor Aegirius Monroe. The Great Chancellor has accused the Emperor's court of harboring malefactors, conspiring against the imperial heirs. This is why he has offered them shelter and safety in his own impregnable citadel. That seems like a very stupid thing to do. The common people are particularly worried by the news. They take it as a sign that the Chancellor is seeking to solidify his power by holding the heirs hostage. If this continues, Monroe could coerce the Emperor into revoking the imperial law, thus depriving the common estate of any and all rights. All hope for reform in the empire has vanished. From farmer to rich industrialist, the commoners are growing desperate. In your province, the authorities are trying their best to put the people at ease. The magistrate in Anazet makes a speech from his balcony to the excited crowd below. Trust in your emperor, good people. The imperial heirs are the future of the Great Tempest dynasty. The Emperor has made the wise decision to send them far away from the scheming court. Great Chancellor Monroe will take good care of them and keep them safe. All glory to the Empire. All glory to the Tempest. Yeah, I don't believe that for a second. So the struggle for power is at 0 right now. Oh boy. Alright. Chapter Peacetime ends soon. Examining possible chapter endings to check which way you are headed. To achieve the goal that you've chosen, you'll have to meet all of its conditions at the end of the chapter. Oh, great. And I am not even remotely close to any of these, am I? Yeah, I need justice to be an 8 or a 9. That's not the case. I need Auden faces the Court of Honor. Augustine Elborn betrayed. That's not going to be a thing. Knight of the Serpents. The supporters of Archduke Milanatus take over the city. None of these. I can do none of these. The hell? Okay. The search for evidence. You are walking up the marble stairs that lead to the doors of the prefecture. The sword of the younger twin, carved from stone, looms above the doors, just as the case of Dorius Auden now looms over you. Preparing this case will take many long months or even years. The words of Prefect Elborn are evidence enough of that. And time and again, you will ask yourself, are you ready to see this case through to the end? Father meets you at the stairs, and judging by the dour look about him, news of your most recent case has already reached him. Son, I didn't want to discuss this back home. Elborn is our friend, and I stand by him at all times, but he's dragged you into something that is far too dangerous. I'm not going to repeat your grandfather's mistakes, so I won't tell my son how to live his life or what to do. But I ask you to please consider our family. Would it be worth it to let us come to harm, even if the triumph of justice and law is at stake? There are already rumors at the prefecture. They say you're getting ready to summon a highborn Arknian to court. Soon, these rumors will spread beyond the prefecture walls. You and I are both Brantes. Perhaps we ought to stay away from something so dangerous. Some battles are too ugly for us to win. You can always slow down the process and bide your time with routine paperwork. Avoid attracting unwanted attention. This way your career and our family honor would not be at risk. Trust me in this, son. Rather than making a selfless sacrifice, we can achieve far more through our tireless service for the good of the law. I don't know, man. You seem like you just don't want to do anything at all. Just kind of waiting around until you die, or let somebody else deal with it. You promise Father you will consider his words. You say goodbye and return to your office. You are at a crossroads. If you are to make any headway in the case against Auden, you have to start now, while the trail of his misdeeds is still fresh. You have little first-hand knowledge of Auden's criminal wrongdoings, only Thomas's story and what you have seen yourself. Turning this case into a trial requires far more evidence than that. Your friend could be the key to the entire case, if he can help you find the other men who have suffered under the remorseless Arknian. But Thomas is a hunted man. He has every reason to lay low and steer clear of the courthouse. If Thomas can put you in touch with other victims and witnesses among the soldiers and officers of the Legion, perhaps you can gather evidence yourself. But the Legion may meet a lone outsider such as you with too much resistance. Things might get ugly. You consider your options. Apart from Thomas, who else could help you gather compelling evidence against the commander? Auden is an Arknian from an ancient dynasty. Anyone involved will hold their tongue no matter what. The way things are right now, not a single soul would risk angering the Audens to aid a middling judge from an unknown family. Unless an even more highborn Arknian chooses to support your cause. Gaius Tempest, the Imperial Overseer of Magra, the Emperor's own brother. Every aristocrat in the province knows he detests Dorius Auden for remaining loyal to Archduke Milanatus. Ensuring the overseer's support would increase your authority greatly, and give you a chance to gather evidence against Auden without Thomas lifting a finger. But the Imperial Overseer is one step above the Prefect, your immediate superior. You can only address Gaius Tempest directly if you keep it a secret from Elborn. Communicating directly with the Overseer of the province means defying your loyalty to Elborn. Are you willing to do this? Puzzled, you start pacing around your office. You don't have the options to do that, I can already see that. It's time to decide how you will begin this case. Depending on what you choose, the case against Auden could lead you to unprecedented success, or end your career, or even your very life. Okay. Wait, I thought the whole point of me putting Thomas in prison was so that I would use him. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. So he can't be that. That's dumb. Come on, man. So I'm gonna get a death, but my scheming is gonna go up. Well, there's that. Oh, that's frustrating. That's kind of frustrating right there. Because again, I thought the whole point was, I understand that you were also keeping him from, Auden killing him, but also at the same time, you could use him later on because he's literally in the jail. Ugh. All right, fine, whatever. Search for evidence on your own. You decide to gather the evidence entirely on your own. You begin investigating the crimes committed by Auden without anyone else's support. You start with the Imperial Legion. After plenty of inquiries, demands, and threats, you finally get a list of Auden's other victims. List in hand, you go to the Armory of Anazed. There you meet Legion officers who have already met a lesser death in a duel with the Arknian. All of them nobles of the mantle, ennobled only recently, young and full of potential to serve the good of the Empire. They are all anxious to avoid getting challenged again. For many of them, another duel will be their last. None of them are eager to provide written statements about their duels. It will be improper for a soldier to bear witness against his commander, the latter's conduct notwithstanding. They finally agree to have their testimony committed to ink and paper only after you reassure them again and again that their statements will put an end to Auden's murderous rampage. Their stories paint a clear picture. You realize there's a method to Auden's madness. All the officers disobeyed the commander at least once or expressed their disagreement, no matter how respectfully. More and more officers are starting to realize that Auden's loyalties lie with Archduke Milanatus, and not his lawful superior, the Overseer. So more and more officers are getting challenged by Auden. Have Auden's duels gone beyond this passion for sword fighting? Were they just an excuse to eliminate any suspicion of his treason? Once all the officers' statements have been collected, you make your way back from the Legion barracks as the sun sets beyond the horizon. The night grows dark. You hear a sudden thundering of boots. Several bulky silhouettes emerge from the dark behind you. You quicken your pace, and the strangers break into a run. You turn around and draw your sword. Your pursuers encircle you as they draw theirs. You stand ready to defend your life. The strangers attack. Their faces are concealed, but their fighting style betrays their Legion training. You abandon any hope of launching a counterattack and focus on defense, somehow deflecting every single blow. Then you see an opening and dash towards the nearest home, your back now safely pressed against the wall. The assassins get closer and form a half circle around you. You have nowhere to run now. You meet them with a flurry of desperate slashes, doing everything you can to keep them away, but your strength is already ebbing with every deflected blow. Then finally, you are felled by a blade in the stomach. The assailants form a tight circle around you, blocking out the darkening sky. Then you hear a gruff, unfamiliar voice. "We've got a message for you, sir. Mind your own business." The soldier steps on your chest and stabs you in the throat with his sword. You choke on your own blood, shudder, and die. Death comes quickly, almost painlessly. Man, if only I knew how to fight. It'd be such a shame if I had, put more experience into my valor, turned around and leveled that up to the maximum amount. I would be so strong. Maybe I could have defended myself. Impenetrable darkness surrounds you. You stand alone, bare to your very essence. It paralyzes you. You have an urge to cover yourself, to hide. No one should see you so vulnerable. But you cannot conceal the truth in this place. You are bathed in an unbearably bright light. It has no hint of warmth in it. It is blinding. It leaves no shadows in the entire world. It is the light of the shining pillar itself. In this radiance, you can clearly see all your thoughts and doubts, your errors and transgressions, the contradictions that have permeated you since birth. They cover you from head to toe, like rough gray tatters, but they melt away in this light. You are naked. You feel liberated and whole. It is as if though all the wounds and cracks in your soul have been healed, making it the way it should be. It is though the scales have fallen from your eyes. You see the true shapes of things now. These are the laws by which the world abides, the grand designs that moves life itself. You tread a path that is barely visible in the blinding light, giving shape to everything. In this light, you see the infinite complexity of the world, from the tiniest leaf to the enormity of the empire. And this world maintains its balance by virtue of the law that was embedded in it during the act of creation. Ahead of you, two figures are waiting on the path. They are gigantic, many times taller than a man. The elder holds a lash, the younger a sword. The younger gazes at you sternly, coldly. You kneel obediently before him and lower your head. The god raises his sword above you. This is divine retribution. There is no law without it, nor can there be. Every action has consequences. This is what shapes the world, making its very existence possible. In this moment, beneath the gaze of the merciless God, you comprehend the law that binds the entire world together. Which manifestation of the law and will you live by? Okay. I don't know. Empire, lot, family, cause, yourself, or against the law. I mean, I am doing this to try and get my family and the noble to become the noble of the sword. So I guess family? Is that right? Family? The blade flashes. The younger sword slashes through the air above your head. You do not yet deserve your final punishment. The law demands that you continue your life. Your form has not been completely destroyed, nor has that of the world. The younger extends his gigantic hand and shows you the way. You must proceed. The path leads you to the top of the crown of the silver tree, spread wide in the white gleam. The branches are close now. It's time to descend. You are drawn downward into darkness. The shadows that had disappeared in the blinding glow creep around you and envelop you. This is to be expected, but the purity and clarity of spirit are still with you. Something is forcing your throat open. Air. It scratches you on the inside. Your soul is filled with struggle again, with the contradictions from which the fabric of this world and you yourself are woven. The divine light that gave you clarity is fading away with each passing moment. You have to open your eyes. Above you is the dark ceiling of the crypt. You are reborn. You can feel the world again, the cold stone of the tomb, a weak gust of stagnant air. You rise again from the stone slab in the middle of your family crypt and look closely at your arm. A new black mark encircles it. Little else has changed in your body born anew, although getting used to it will take some time. This death is behind you now. It's time to return to your life. You go to work in the morning as usual, having returned to life. You do all you can to ensure that nobody learns about your death. Any attempt to find your killers and bring them to justice would only hinder your progress in this case. Those Legion soldiers were just following orders. It's not difficult to figure out whose. For now, you do your best to recover and commit to paper every instance and incident, every name, every circumstance. The once thin folder against Auden grows fatter by the day. One day, Prefect O'Born pays you a visit to see your progress firsthand. You've done great work, Brante. Commander Auden isn't even bothering to cover his tracks. I must say, this evidence alone would be enough to indict anyone save for an Arknian noble, sadly. So your work here is far from over. I see you realize that. The way things stand right now, summoning an Arknian to trial in a court of law would indict us rather than him. It would be best to postpone the case for now, but keep the folder safe and secure. I died for that? Really? I died for that? If we want to have any chance of getting him indicted in court, we need to make the nobles in the province recognize duels as an act of murder. This means defying a tradition of old, a road perilous and seldom traveled. It means enforcing the rule of law over the Anazet gentry. For now, Sir Brante, return to your other duties and pay particular attention to any dueling incidents. We will take our next step against Sir Auden when the time is right. You mean I will take the steps? I'm the one dying here. Jesus. Alright, evidence against Auden event has happened. You now have the evidence you need to bring Dorius Auden to trial. The justice requirement for Auden is sentence and the career requirement for Auden faces the court of honor are reduced by 1. What? The justice requirement for Auden is sentence and the career requirement for Auden faces the court of honor are reduced. Oh, okay. Okay, I understand now. Okay. Just a little confused by that. Stephen's Gambit. This event is a consequence of your previous actions. Stephen Brante greater than 1. Greater than or equal to 1. Okay. We'll check this out and then we'll leave it at that. You've hardly found any time for family matters this year. The events taking place in the city keep you busy at all hours. Tonight you come home extremely late, but the fireplace in the sitting room is lit. By the fire you see Stephen with a glass of wine. Your elder brother has been waiting for you. You take a seat in a chair by Stephen's side. Your brother keeps turning his glass with his long fingers. Darren, we need to have a talk about Gloria. She flatly refuses to behave as she ought to. Her antics are ruining our family's reputation. If this situation persists, nobility of the sword will be out of the question. Brother, I do not wish her ill, but we have no right to sit idly by. Regrettably, Gloria will never truly be a part of the Brante family. Her origins are too tarnished, so it is our duty to find her a new family. It is high time Gloria got married. But we can't just give our sister to a commoner, can we? And how could any noble wed her, knowing her origins? It's been a stumbling block for a long time, but I finally found a suitable match for her. Ah, shit. His name is Jose El Pelletier. Oh yeah, the dude at the party who seemed kind of creepy. He's a young nobleman of the sword, recently graduated from the college, and now he has a position at the city hall. Do you recall a reception several years ago, where he couldn't take his eyes off Gloria? Pelletier has been obsessed with her ever since. Not even her lowly origins can deter him. Admittedly, Gloria does not reciprocate his affections just yet. So let us convince Gloria that becoming Sir El Pelletier's bride is her chance to escape her current situation. And then let us pray she comes to her senses and puts her rebellious ways behind her. Isn't this an ideal solution? After marrying El Pelletier, Gloria will be a noble woman herself. We'll be granting her the freedom she's craved since she was a girl, and then she can write poetry and do whatever else takes her fancy. I will enter into negotiations with El Pelletier's family. Rumor has it Jose's father already has a future wife in mind for him, the daughter of an important chancellery official. But Jose's passion must win out in the end, don't you agree? As for you, Darren, please help me with Gloria. You're closest with her. You can make her see how beneficial this match will be. She must fulfill her duty to the family that took her in, after all. Oh boy. Well, I can actually help in this case. Stephen looks at you expectantly. You are at a crossroads. Will you accept your brother's plan or refuse him? Will this marriage be a blessing, and for whom? If I agree, Stephen Brante gets secret plot, and I get +1 with Stephen Brante. If I refuse, the unity of the family goes up by 1, the willpower goes up by 5, and Stephen Brante goes down by 2. Shite. Well, shit. Well, I did say fuck Steven, so fuck Steven. Your words slice through the silence of the sleeping house. You disagree with Steven and will not participate in his plots against your sister. Steven does not say anything, but his grip on the glass tightens. Finally, you hear the sound of breaking glass and glimmering shards fall to the floor. Steven pensively contemplates the blood running down his palm. Pity. What a pity our grandfather, Sir Gregor, is no longer with us. He would make both you and Gloria see reason. Neither of you is capable of grasping what family and blood mean, so I suppose I must bear this burden alone. Stephen leaves the room. You're left alone in front of the dying fire. After your conversation last night, Stephen mostly stays silent and treats Gloria with pointed courtesy. The family breathes a collective sigh of relief. Could the feud between Stephen and Gloria finally be over? You are the only one who is aware of the scheme your brother is concocting. Alright, so now we're back at 6. If I can get one more, I can get peace, but I need it to be greater than or equal to 8, I think, if I'm not mistaken. And my willpower is doing fine. It's done fuck all for me, but it's fine. The illegitimate girl. This event is a consequence of your previous actions. Gloria is greater than or equal to 1, and she is indifferent. Okay, let's do this, and then I'll stop it. A chain of events. Great. Your home is quiet tonight. Father is away, arbitrating disputes in Magran's villages. Stephen is visiting one of his high-placed patrons. After a dinner spent in silence, everyone retreats to their chambers. You're about to retire for the night when Gloria calls out to you. Darren, wait a minute. I have an important favor to ask you. Your sister leads you to her longtime refuge in the library. Here, in the shadows between the bookcases, you will not be overheard. Brother, I wish to speak with you before Stephen returns. His scheming is becoming unbearable. It's beyond Sir Robert's power to stop him, let alone Mother or Nathan. You're my only hope. You shrug. All families argue from time to time, but every quarrel has to end sooner or later. Yes, it will end when Stephen finally gets rid of me. As far as he's concerned, I'm just a stumbling block and a stain on his father's good name. He lets me stay in the house only to avoid causing a scandal in high society, but as soon as the Brontes get his precious nobility of the sword, I'll be out on the streets in the blink of an eye. Darren, you don't want me to get kicked out of the family, do you? Please help me. I need to convince Sir Robert to adopt me and make me legitimate. After that, it won't be so easy for Stephen to dispose of me. And then I won't bear the stigma of being a bastard anymore. I know Sir Robert would agree, if only by the virtue of love he has for our mother, but Stephen is standing in his way. Tell me, will you help me? Oh, God. An illegitimate child who has never known her father, a stranger in the family. Gloria looks at you with hopeful, pleading eyes. If I help Gloria, I get a secret plot. If I refuse Gloria, unity goes up by 1. Willpower goes up by 5. Fuck me. Oh, God. Gloria, I am so sorry. I have betrayed you so many times. Good God. I mean, look, I need that unity. I really need that unity. So, oh God, I'm so sorry. You refuse your sister. The world doesn't work the way she would like it to. She is a commoner and an illegitimate child. Why pointlessly revolt against it? Gloria is demanding too much from Sir Robert. Adopting Gloria as his daughter would be too dangerous. The Brante family's position is precarious enough as it is. You will not scheme to pressure your father or Stephen into this. Every word you utter makes Gloria flinch as though she were struck by a lash. Her empty eyes wander around the room, avoiding yours. I shouldn't have opened my heart to you. This is my predicament and mine alone. Good night, brother. You go back to your bedroom craving the oblivion of sleep, but you keep tossing and turning restlessly. Will your words compel Gloria to give up on her plan? Probably not. But hey, we got unity at 7. I only need one more to pass one of the checks. My willpower is at 25 now. A realm unknown. The sun is setting on a cold, windy day as you return from the prefecture. To your surprise, a messenger awaits you at the door with an urgent letter from Sir Elborn. You open the letter. Brante, there is an urgent case that I must entrust to you. We have just received a report of a secret society formed by young nobles. The Archduke's family may be involved. This concerns me. I suspect a possible plot to depose Overseer Tempest. Normally, the Secret Chancellery handles all such cases, but I'd rather investigate the rumors of the plot before there is any action. Preventing the unnecessary bloodshed and disgrace would be prudent. You are to investigate this matter as soon as possible. The Gendarmes tracked down a suspicious nobleman by the name of Alexis L. Lance. Based on his confession, a meeting of this society will be held tonight. Unfortunately, this is all we were able to learn from him. The L. Lance family is of too high standing for more thorough questioning. Fortunately, all members of this secret society wear a mask when attending meetings. We've acquired L. Lance's personal mark and will ensure that he is late to the meeting. You should be able to impersonate him quite easily. You are to attend the meeting tonight and learn as much as possible about this secret society. This will allow us to foil a dangerous plot or save many young people from the secret chancellery. The letter includes a delicate gilded mask of intricate workmanship. Fortunately, it fits your face perfectly. It seems your plans for tonight have changed. Alright, so this is what we'll be getting into in the next chapter. We got secret plots, we got secret societies, we have mass parties, we have, oh God, what's the name of that movie? Oh God, the Stanley Kubrick movie. That one. We have all these type of things going on. So maybe even Cthulhu. You never know. Cthulhu likes showing up too. So there's that. But we'll find out in the next video. So thank you for watching. If you like the video, like the video. If you want to see more content like this, subscribe. I have plenty of things on my channel, and I will have plenty of things in the future. Also, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, do leave it in the comment section. I'll be more than happy to answer anything, or just a comment on comments as I see fit. So, thank you for watching, and in the next one, we will get into the realm unknown. So, see ya.